Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday. Welcome to Listen.
Hello, hello. Listen, listen, listen.
Welcome to Listen with Tania and Win. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another week of season two. Y'all are hanging in there with us, and we so appreciate it. Thank you so much for every listener, as we love to call you guys, not followers, because we only follow in Christ. So, listeners. So, thank you guys for every share, every comment. We always want to make sure that we start each week just by sharing and showing as much gratitude because you all are following us on this obedience journey. And just like us, it's one day at a time, 1 week at a time, right? When 1 week, literally, one
Yes,
week, one show at
step
a
by
time.
step by step by day by day by day. So thank you all so much for hanging in there with us on this listen journey.
Yes, today is episode 5 of season 2. If
How do we
this is
get
your
here?
first time, well, wow, welcome. We'll do the formalities and introduce ourselves. I am Tania Briscoe Easterling, and I'm coming to you straight out of Texas.
Straight
And
out of
let me see if I get this right. Nope, I had to point the wrong way. And my person over here,
over here, right? And I'm Win
right?
Briscoe, and I am one third of our dynamic duo, and I'm the cousin sister to Tania. Our dads are identical twins.
Yeah. All that. And then we have an amazing producer in the background. So shout out to Danielle, who is also family, full on family, but she's amazing. So tonight, as with every night, you are welcome to comment, post your questions. We love dialogue. We love it. This is not a this isn't a monarchy on here. This isn't a dictatorship.
Right.
This is just a show, and it's a place to just conversate and, as we love to say, to be real and relevant. So
Yes.
we love to be real and relevant right along with you. So feel free to post your comments. We'll see them. Okay. And of course, we love to dialogue. And we are looking forward to tonight. So last week, ooh,
Whew. Yeah, right.
last week must have been a little heavy.
Um,
Just a little. But it was so good. When you want to talk about last week?
Honey, last week we talked about the fakeries. We really did. So if you all are not familiar with that word, it actually is a real word in the Webster's Dictionary. It's approved by Scrabble, so that lets you know it's even more so a real word.
Right.
And the fakeries, and the bedfellows that go along with the fakeries, right? And the masking and having to try and keep your reputation and keeping things kind of false, right? Not really your authentic self or the
Right.
people around you. So please go back and watch last week and again the episodes prior to that. And then if you want, catch up on season 1 if you're just now joining us. And welcome to the Listen family if you haven't seen our prior episodes. So that was
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah. So for right now, family, all of our episodes from season 1 and the 4 before today in season 2 are still available. You can still
Mhm.
catch them on replay on our Facebook page. So if you haven't done so already, just make sure that your notifications are set so you know every moment that we go live because one day we may surprise y'all. It may not be on a Tuesday night.
That's it.
So you don't want to miss any of this great information and these great moments and opportunities. So tonight,
Whew, honey.
tonight's episode, y'all, the topic
Feelings, honey. I brought my tissue
in your feelings.
and my cup, okay? Because I'm not sure which one I'm gonna go to, but they probably both gonna be used
I
tonight.
got one feeling. I got
There
one
you go.
feeling. Got some
There
joy.
you go. I have a range of feelings tonight, so we're gonna get right on into it, honey. Feelings is an emotional state or reaction, a belief, especially a vague or an irrational one, right? That's the definition, one of
So
many
good.
definitions of the
Mhm.
word feelings. So you want to
Yes.
give us a little bit more context because I know you love scriptures and every translation that you can find.
Well, I get excited when God gives us these actual topic titles,
Yes,
and then I go to search and I'm like, wait, it's really in the Bible. Like the word
right.
is in the Bible. Like, yay. And no, it's not always in King James Version, you
No.
know, but there's so many other amazing translations out there.
Mhm.
So, John 3 and 20 in the New Living Translation, which is starting to almost turn into like my second favorite.
Okay.
It says, even if we feel guilty, God is greater than our feelings and he
Mhm.
knows everything. First John 3 and 20.
There's that.
God is greater than our feelings.
Thank you for putting that into perspective because we need that.
Mhm,
We need that.
mhm.
There's plenty of times where we may not feel like God is greater than our feelings, but thank you for that scripture in First John for always just giving us a loving reminder that sometimes we need that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. When I saw that translation, I just sat and stared at my computer for about 5 minutes looking at that
Mhm.
scripture because I was like, okay,
Right.
God, you're greater than my feelings. Like that's
Woo.
comforting to know, but at the same time, it's like a
Mm.
little convicting because it's
Perspective.
like, oh, you're really greater than my feelings. like, ouch. Like it was so comforting, but at the same time, it's like, well, ouch, that hurt. Like,
Reality check in scripture is
right.
always,
It's like, so what you trying to say? So you trying to say that what you're telling me to do matters more than how it's gonna make me feel?
I mean,
Yeah, we starting early tonight, y'all. We starting early. I know they like,
well,
wait, we less than 10 minutes in.
I
Yeah, we
mean,
just,
yeah, that's what he said right
it is
there.
what it says,
What's the next
right?
one say? You on a roll.
Ooh. So Hebrews 4 and 15, staying with that amazing New Living Translation, right? This high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he faced all of the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So the word feelings wasn't
Mm,
in there, right? The
right.
actual word. However, it talks about the high priest, right, being Jesus, not
Hmm.
assuming everybody knows that that's watching,
Right.
understands our weaknesses and that he faced all of the same testings we do. So I love how that came up when I searched for feelings because I was like,
That's good.
yes, yes, because Jesus had feelings. He
That's good.
expressed anger when he flipped the tables.
Honey.
He expressed sadness when he
Right.
cried, when he found out that his best bud Lazarus had passed. He cried in the Garden of Gethsemane, like
Mm,
to the
I don't
point
want
of
to go.
drops of blood,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
Expressing like sadness and like, wait, what? I gotta die for these people. So he had
These
feelings.
he
Had
had a
feelings.
range of emotions. Really, if we looked at Jesus in the Bible, his feelings, he went through ranges of emotions and expressed to us, what we can embrace in our emotions. But also at the end of the day, to know that you might feel what you may feel. However, comma, let's keep
However,
it moving. That's it.
right.
That's
Because
it.
that comma in that verse is powerful
Come on.
because there's a comma, two commas in that verse, right? It says, he understood our weaknesses, he
Yes.
understands our weaknesses,
Yes.
comma,
Come on.
he faced all of the same testings we do, comma, yet he did not sin. And it's like, okay, it wasn't a period after all of that. It was like, no, it's all together.
They get you with them commas, them pregnant pauses. Like take it
Hmm.
all in, just digest it
Right.
in bite-sized pieces. That's what that is. I
Mm.
love it. The next one is Psalms 34 and 5, and this is the
Yes.
message translation. And it says, look at him, give him your warmest smile, never hide your feelings from him. I thought that was really good. Like to be
It was.
genuine is basically what I think that's the wins translation.
I
right? It's
mean, we might as
just
well be. It's not like God doesn't know what we're feeling
yeah,
anyway.
right.
So why try to hide those feelings from him? It's like, okay.
Hmm.
He's sitting there like, really? You trying to hide that you're upset with me?
Mm, mm, mm,
You
mm,
trying to
mm,
hide
mm.
that you're angry? You trying to hide your anger? How's that
Right.
working for you? As
I
you need
love
to
it.
say,
He's like,
how's that
never
working for you?
and give your warmest smile. I was like, okay, there's times when
Mhm.
I can't always give my warm. I'd be real talk. We're real irrelevant on this show. If y'all don't know, I
Yeah.
don't know that I've always given my warmest smile. Um,
No, I know I haven't.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. Sometimes it's the church smile.
If that, if that. God, we people. So he gets the all. He gets the he gets the emotional roller coaster. Okay, that's what he gets. The next one says, and this is Colossians 3:5-6. And it says,
Yes.
doing whatever you feel like, whenever you feel like it, comma, and grabbing whatever attracts your fancy, period. That's a life shaped by things and feelings instead of by God. And I was like, well,
Right. That is an entire sermon all by itself.
excuse me.
And
Okay.
that was shortened. That really wasn't even the entire thing because I was like, okay, we can't put a paragraph up on the screen.
Come
So,
on.
and that's the message version because I don't think we put that up there.
Oh,
So,
yes.
whenever y'all get an opportunity, you'll want to read that in its entirety. And you may clutch your fake pearls when you're reading it because it's like, ooh, okay,
I mean, it's a get your whole
okay.
life together reference, is what it is.
Yeah,
Govern
especially
yourselves
that last
accordingly.
part. That's a life shaped by things and
Hmm.
feelings instead of by God.
Well,
And I was like,
whew,
okay,
yeah.
okay, we're going straight for the jugular. We're just
I
going
mean,
straight in.
that's a perfect segue. Do our feelings really matter to God?
All right, so let's have a real and relevant talk. First, I'm going to say this while you sipping on your joy in the cup. God gave us feelings. He put them in us. It is
Mhm.
part of who we are, right? It's part of what makes up our soul. Our soul is our mind, our will, and our emotions.
Correct.
So he gave us those feelings. But are they supposed to dictate
Hmm.
our life, right?
Not at all.
And
Not
as
at
that
all.
scripture just said, doing whatever you feel like whenever you
Come on.
feel like it. Is that supposed to be happening?
Whatever
No.
attracts your fancy is what the scripture actually
Yeah,
says.
exactly. So it's like, right, right. So it's like, okay, God's like, yeah, I gave you the feelings so that
Mhm.
you can empathize with others and feel with others.
Right.
But what you're not supposed to be doing is, is just, letting them run all willy nilly, as they used to say, run amok in your life.
Letting them control you where you feel like your emotions are superseding really what God is directing, right? And I know we'll talk more about that later, but just your emotions and understanding there's a difference. I think people get them intertwined between your feelings and your emotions, and I think
Yeah,
people intertwine the two. Um, Feelings is very different from emotions, right? And so the emotions you express versus the feelings that you have, and know that both of them are situational. They are very ebb and flow. So
yeah,
that's the difference too between being happy and having joy, right? Is that
right.
you can have joy despite of being happy, and happy again is situational. It's environmental. It's at that moment by
It's
moment.
temporary. It's temporary.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And joy is really more of a continence, a state of mind, where you're in all things, even if it might not make you happy, still finding joy. So there is a distinct difference there. And that I love people to really touch on the difference between their emotions and their feelings and just sit with that for the rest of the week and really think about their perspectives.
Yeah, yeah. And Along with that, just even how important it is to, when you have feelings, when you're expressing feelings, taking a moment to even recognize, okay, what's the source?
Mm-hmm.
What's the source of what I'm feeling? Is it
Yeah.
coming from internal? Is it me that's expressing this? Am
Right.
I receiving it from somebody else? Is it external?
Yeah.
Am I feeling a certain way because somebody, that transference of negative energy, as they used to say, which is a very real thing,
Correct.
because somebody dumped their feelings on me. And so now I'm like, now I'm feeling some
Mm-hmm.
kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And just even recognizing, okay, no, everything, especially if it's external, should
Right.
flow through us and should go straight to God. Should never stay with us,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Yeah, we have to be really mindful of that. If we have people in our lives that really confide in us, or they may see us as a confidant, that's all well and great, and you need those people in your life, and you should be, you should have that in your life as well. But there, you have to be mindful when their feelings transfer to your feelings, and understanding that, okay, am I absorbing your feelings? Right? I can hear you and pray with you and be here to
Hmm.
support you. But
Yeah.
when I'm feeling like I'm taking on your feelings, then we have to take a pause and analyze, because that's not my role, right? You're supposed to be taking that to God, not to each other. So absolutely.
So
So
back to our question of, do
well,
our feelings really matter to God?
I think
My
they.
answer is yes, with a comma.
I was gonna say, with a caveat,
It's
with
got a
a
comma.
caveat. Yeah.
It's got a comma because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, but
Hmm.
not to where your feelings override His will.
There's that. So I'm gonna say, for humanity's sake, because again, when we say no and then we put a comma, I'm gonna just have to it probably is best to just say no. And let me just say why. Because at the end of the day, it's about God's will. So when we say, do our feelings matter? Sure, they do, right? But at the end of the day, no. So I'm sorry. We could butter the
It's
bread all we
it's a
want, but
yes.
at the
It's
end of
a
the day,
yes, comma, but no. That's what it
yeah,
is. It's a
yeah,
yes, comma,
okay.
but no. It's a yes, but no.
There you go.
You
So
know,
so you have one in a possible on the nose, like we're playing spades tonight. So there you go, you
one in
guys.
a push. You got one in a push on that answer tonight. Um,
Well, who our feelings versus obedience. Now this right here, I'm gonna tell you,
yeah, yeah. Yes, we took a pregnant pause. For those that were wondering, did your screen freeze or something? No, we just took a.
yeah, I
We
don't.
did not lose audio. It was a pregnant pause, because we know we are living this out.
Mm,
I know I'm living this out, and I am privileged to know Win is living this out. We live this very thing out every
ma'am,
single
ma'am,
day.
ma'am.
This show is living this out. Our feelings versus obedience to God.
No chill, no chill.
Let's
Okay.
talk about it, family. If you got
Um,
something to say about it,
put it
you
in the
can please
comments,
comment.
please, because I
Don't let us be the only ones. Please, please. As they used to say, is there one? If you if you
wow.
can relate, if you can relate to being in a season, whether now, in the past,
Mm,
whatever, or you wrestling with it right now, and
mm,
let's talk about it. So that feelings versus obedience. It takes me back to the Garden of Gethsemane and
okay.
God giving Jesus a directive of, hey, you're gonna die for everybody's sins.
Whew, right?
And Jesus needing three times to pray to be like, but wait.
I can just only imagine he's thinking about these ungrateful, these. I mean, I'm sure he conjured up some thoughts. I'm sure. Okay.
You know he did.
I could only imagine what he's thinking, and he still has to go through with this. Yo, better him than I, because I don't know what I'd have said. I'ma just keep it real. This is a real irrelevant show.
What I probably would have said would I can't repeat because Facebook will probably kick us off.
Exactly,
I'll be
exactly. I'd have,
like, you want me to do what for who for who?
come on.
And then they still gonna curse me when it's all said and done.
Listen, listen, listen. I'm not the one. It's not the kid. So I'm not yet in that. I'm on a spiritual journey, y'all. Not yet arrived. So just know it'd have been a no. Sorry.
But so not even so yeah, there's always that example, and I believe that is like the ultimate example,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There's even like the examples of like Esther and how she had to put her feelings on the back burner,
Wow.
in an effort to partner with God to save her people from being completely massacred,
That's real talk.
and it's just like, okay, because she was like, what? You want me to do what? You want me to go talk to my husband, the king, and
Correct. So
risk
what you want me
getting
to do is
killed?
risk my life for your life. That's so what you're saying is the value of my life compared to the value of your life. One, that's because that's what was that's the Wind's translation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So your lives matter and my lives don't matter. Okay, so that was before all lives matters and Black lives matter. That was like your lives matter, my lives don't matter. Like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let's talk this out, right?
Right. She was like, did you
No,
not see what he did to his last wife?
come
Like,
on.
did you forget how I got here? Like, let's
Yeah,
talk about how I got here.
I'm the substitute. So this is what you're trying to do to the substitute. Okay, deuces on
Mm,
you with that. So there's a no on that as well. There you go. Two no's. We're on
right,
a roll right now.
right. And her beautiful ending resolve of, if I perish, I perish.
Man,
And I was like, well,
these are aspirational goals, y'all.
I mean,
We're gonna talk about some real and relevant because yeah,
and I got one more. So I got one more.
wait, there's more.
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. And I'm probably
Okay.
not saying their names right, but that's how we learned it in church. That's how I learned it in Sunday school. So
Well, there was
you can
another one
type
we
there.
learned,
You can
but
type
we're
the
not gonna
proper
say the
grammar in the
yes.
comments. Um, but their walk,
Yeah.
right? Because you can't tell me they didn't feel some kind of way amongst the crowd of thousands of people, and they're the
Mhm.
only ones standing when that horn goes off
Come on.
and refusing to bow, knowing, okay, I'm signing my death sentence.
They
I'm
felt the heat.
signing,
They didn't feel nothing else. Come on. Get out. Oh,
right.
no. But they did it, right?
I did it. And had the audacity to say, and if he doesn't come
Mm.
through.
Now that's what I'm saying. These are aspirational goals.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
again, this is the third. I don't know.
That's squad goals on the real.
It's the real, the very real.
That's squad goals. We might have to put that on some merch because that's squad goals.
Yeah, because
That
it'd have been a no.
that feelings versus obedience.
No.
If you got another example, y'all can put them in the comments. We love to keep this train going. So,
Mm, mm, mm.
so while we're talking about examples, we want to talk about people that struggled with their feelings and obedience.
Us. Us. No more. I have no more hypotheticals.
No,
Us.
yes, that's a given. That's every day.
Every day. Every single moment of the day.
I'm talking
Okay.
about in the Bible, though. I'm talking about in the Bible. Since we were just there,
Oh
right? We
my
were just there.
God. Feelings versus obedience. That would probably be like Mary, right? Hey, she's a virgin. Who wants to be? Oh, look, okay, how you finna explain your way out of this shenanigans? Like, that's feelings versus obedience. That's an ultimate right there.
I
There's
mean,
so many examples of feelings versus obedience.
And she carried that thing for the rest of her life.
Come on. Come
Because you
on.
know there had to have been a stigma on her for the rest of her life.
Mm, mm, mm. Again, that might have been a fourth pass. Right now we on a book, a spades, y'all. We on a book. That's it. That'd have been four.
So let's go all the way back to the beginning and let's
Hmm.
start with the first man,
Come on.
Adam, and his feeling of blaming, wanting to place blame.
Well, this chick, that put with me, this
Right.
is her fault. It's 100% her fault.
Right.
Clearly. If it was just you and I, everything was going okay when it was just you and I. And then she showed up.
I mean,
Look where we at right now.
and calls me obedient. She's the reason I wasn't obedient.
Clearly, because he couldn't just make that decision on his own. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
He couldn't put
The
the brakes.
blame game is real. The blame game is real. The blame game is real.
It's all her
Right?
fault. That's basically what he said. It's all her fault.
Right.
Okay.
So what
Okay.
about Moses? Moses and his anger issues.
Moses and Peter are bedfellows of myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
100% relate.
Yep.
100%.
Yes.
Feelings of Moses. He was sick and tired of y'all complaining that you'd rather go back to slavery because you could get fried chicken than being out here having this manna. Okay.
Fried chicken.
Sick of y'all. I'm
Okay.
sick of you. I'm sick of you. Okay. I'm sick of you. That's Moses. That's the translation. If you all haven't read that, there you go. There you
Right.
go.
And then how it cost him in the end,
Yes.
his feelings,
Mm,
his
girl.
feelings costing him in the end. Which we'll
Ooh.
get to that. We'll get to some
The
repercussions in a
ripple
minute. But
effect of our
when
feelings.
I mean, if that thing didn't
Ooh.
cost him in the end, if it didn't cost Adam in the end. Ooh,
Yikes.
your favorite, Jonah, and
Come on.
his feelings of entitlement.
Feel like I need to go down there and talk to these people? No, you need to just go ahead and burn that city up. That's what you need to do. We don't need to talk. You can say you have saved them for what? They had fire enough a warning. Nah, go ahead.
Right.
Crispy that
Right.
right on up. Okay.
He's like, I'm not going to talk to a bunch of heathens. That's what I'm not fitting to do. I'm not fitting to talk to a bunch of heathens.
That's kind of the look he probably gave God. I was like, I'll pass.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hard pass into the mouth of a whale. Hard pass into the mouth of a whale.
Ooh, look like that SpongeBob meme where he's sitting on the couch, like, I guess I'm going down here to let me get on down here now. I guess I'm in Nineveh. Let me hard
Oh my
pass.
God.
I guess it's time to go.
Last one. David.
Look, David is the ultimate emotional roller coaster. If there's no one else in the Bible that's a character based on feelings, it is David, because David
Yes.
takes you through the range of emotions you didn't even know existed.
Yep.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, God loved him so much, right? Like,
And
and
it's his
he
and what's his favorite. And he
come on,
stated that.
come on, the range of emotions, that the range of things that he did in his emotions.
Right.
Woo! Come on.
Yes.
The ups,
Yes.
the downs, the in betweens. I
Turning
mean,
turning a complete turnaround to obedience. Like, yeah, that doesn't apply to me.
I
That rule
mean,
don't apply. That commandment doesn't apply to me.
nah,
You know,
not at
husbands
all.
love your own wives. It's like y'all.
Correct.
It's like that
Correct.
doesn't apply to me.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, David on the reel.
Oh, Jeremiah. Okay. Okay.
Oh, come on,
All right.
Rebecca.
Yeah,
Hey.
Rebecca with the Jeremiah. Talk about
Yes.
it.
Yes. Very good. That's a great example. Come
Mm-hmm.
on. So, ooh. So, what are some of the questions and conversations when that we need to be asking ourselves about getting out of our feelings?
Oh, good. I'm so glad you didn't ask me about feelings versus obedience. Thank you, ma'am, because that is not the conversation that I am going to have on air. Oh, shout out to Jen.
Oh,
Shout
hey,
out to
Jen.
Jen. They're together. Must be allegedly the tag
Oh, I
team.
love you, ladies.
Oh
Hey.
wow. How yeah. Yeah. I'm not talking about it on air right now about feelings versus obedience. Just know grace is a real thing. I'm gonna just leave
Yes,
it
it
at that.
is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I'm glad to be alive because grace is a real thing. Because my feelings versus God's obedience has a few times in my life
I mean,
not added up.
it's hard. It's hard. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be transparent about it. It's not always easy. It's not always easy
Hmm.
to say, okay, I recognize I have this feeling about what you're asking me to do, but
Hmm.
what you're asking me to do is so much greater than how
Hmm.
I feel about it.
You,
That's
it
not
takes
always easy.
time to even get to that point,
Yes.
right? Being
Yes.
real and relevant. How many times has God told me to do something over the years and I just flat out was like, there's a pass on that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Thanks, but no thanks. No, with respect. All due respect.
Oh yes.
or
Oh yes.
or didn't even respond to the direction,
Oh
just
no.
continued in what I was doing as if I didn't hear the instruction
No,
clearly.
because he wasn't speaking. He wasn't speaking to me. He wasn't speaking to me.
Oh, it was clear.
That must have been for the person next to me,
Nah,
because
I'm
he
not even,
wasn't speaking to me. I didn't even hear.
can't even,
I didn't even hear that, guys. I didn't
nah,
even hear what you said.
I can't even lie like that. Nah, I fully heard, because what you're not going to do is get me caught up on this young sister girl. This is what you're not going to do. Okay. I 100% heard what God said to me, and I 100% didn't do it. Okay. So it has nothing to do with hearing. Hearing and actions are very different things. I chose not to, and I chose to almost not live. Okay. That was the result of those two
Mm,
choices. I'm here to this day because I got myself together and realized that my feelings and my obedience either need to come together or y'all please make sure Chapter Market Chicken is sprinkle my ashes over the bag. Okay. That would have been what it would have been. Okay.
I can honestly say my feelings fought God for years on
Hmm.
writing my first book.
Real talk.
I mean, fought God for years. Him saying, you need to write. Me saying,
Now,
no, I love you, but no.
no, right. Don't we love that?
I
We
love you.
we heard you. We
I'm
love
still worship you. I was still give you praise, but no,
you.
no, because I'm
Mm-mm.
feeling some kind of way about what you telling me
Come
I
on.
gotta write. It's like, nah,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
no.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's,
We both were the same way when it came to our books. I hope y'all, when y'all read these books, you all know that they
oh,
are a labor of our true sacrifice and obedience because neither one of us wanted to write books about our lives, period.
mm-mm,
Neither one of us
no.
wanted to have this show and talk about our lives in the real and relevant because we didn't feel it was anybody else's business, more or less on the interweb. Okay. So these are two
Yeah.
things that we are doing right now that are out of our comfort zones. We're here with you every week because we're being obedient, but it's not about how we feel. We delayed those books years, because we was like, "Nah, God, I don't need, no, I don't. Nobody don't need to know my life. They don't need to know my story."
Double digit years for me. I'll be honest with that. That was
Right?
double
You heard
digit
very
years
clearly, and you procrastinated with intention.
because I was caught up in my feelings.
I mean,
Hey, Bishop Frank.
Bishop. Bishop, no, man. Let me tell you. Thank you, Bishop. Bishop keeps me in check. Some days I'm like, thank you, sir, because there's days where I'm just like, I'm done.
Um, but yeah, those those feelings, you got to watch those feelings
That's it.
because those feelings will get you caught up.
Hmm.
The enemy is an expert at
Yo.
helping us keep
Yes.
our feelings at the forefront, keep
And
our
he uses.
emotions at the
Oh.
forefront of everything. Look at even just this
Mm.
world in the last 2 years,
Yes.
how everybody seems to be on this like emotional edge. It's
It's
like,
been longer than that, though. Honestly, it's
but I'm
been.
saying it's even more gotten pushed. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like on this emotional cliff
Hmm.
of like, okay, if one more thing is said, if one more thing is done, if somebody say one more thing, if
One
this
more.
person does this, it's just like, okay, how in the world are we supposed to function?
When everybody's in their feelings. Every,
Everybody,
every,
you saying not you
every,
being nice, everybody is
everybody
caught
can't
up
be in their
in their
feelings.
feelings.
Oh, listen, to the point where now they're doing professional development training in the workforce called emotional intelligence. Okay.
Mhm.
This is how serious this thing has gotten, where we are now in performance appraisals reviewing people on emotional intelligence. Like, this is a very real thing. Like, when you have a situation, how do you handle it in the workplace? Do you immediately get upset? You know what I mean? How do you respond? That determines, right? Again, I'm like, yeah, boy, back in the day, the term going postal meant such a thing.
It did. That was a literal,
It
unfortunately.
was.
Unfortunately,
Come
that
on.
was a literal. But I
Yes.
just look at now how so much of everything we hear today can go back to just people
Hmm.
being in their feelings, right?
Correct.
Road rage, you in your feelings because somebody cut you off. And it's like,
Snowball
okay,
effect.
social media, you putting
Hmm.
people on blast because you in your feelings because
Right.
you
In that
feel some
moment.
kind of way.
Come on.
It's like it's all out there in the forefront, way too out front, way too out front.
Yes. Yes.
And God is in the background, like, okay, I'm still trying to talk to you, but I need you to quiet your feelings. I need you to take your feelings down,
Hmm.
right? So
And
you
the
can hear me.
pause. It's the pause, right? Like, I remember I love you and I's relationship where God, I know, spoke through you. I know. And when you said to me years ago, remember, I think I was probably out of college, but it was years ago when you
Mm,
said to me, everything you think, you don't have to say. And I was like, honey, I clutched pearls I didn't have on. Like, the thought of me not saying my mind. Y'all, see, y'all don't know the win 3.0, the win half point, 0.1, point
Lord
one and a
help.
half, to
That's because we come from vocal DNA. We
ooh,
come from vocal DNA.
girl,
It
our
is it is
feelings
in
were
us. It's in
immediate,
us.
like immediately we felt them, and immediately the other person felt them. Like, there was no gate, there was no guard. Immediately it was translated from what we felt to our minds, off our tongues. I mean, in split seconds. And so, no filter, no filter. You got it straight. So thank you for allowing God to use you to give me that wisdom and insight. And I've never forgotten it. There's times when I bypass it. Excuse me, not much. Not see, I'm sneezing. See, now I have never sneezed on this show in 2 seasons, but wasn't that God right there?
Trust me when I tell you, I took my own medicine first. So
Mm,
that message wasn't just for you, it was for me. And I had already started doing the work on me because I was already seeing how me living out my feelings
yeah.
was impacting the choices I was making in my life.
Mm,
And I was like,
mm.
okay, I cannot stay on this emotional roller coaster,
That's it.
of somebody say something and I might have been way up here and now I'm just totally nosediving because
Quick. It happens so
it's like,
fast.
no, no,
No,
mm-mm.
mm,
Life is
no.
life is too short. So I took that medicine of my own accord.
And we have to know too when it comes to our feelings, right? And what we're asking ourselves, um, do we allow people to give that kind of control over our lives that they can dictate and impact our feelings, right?
Mm.
Because you have to think about that. In order for someone to impact your feelings, you have to give them control over you to do so, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, they
and
have to
so,
have your permission. You
yeah,
have to have your
yeah.
permission.
And people in our lives, you have to think about that. Like, do you have a place in my life like that where you have that ability to control my emotions for me to
Mm.
respond in some kind of a way? Like, that's
Mm.
pretty significant.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And even in the confines of like a marriage, even in that, you still want to have that shield up, right? That's going back to that spiritual armor, to have
Hmm.
that shield over your heart, that shield of favor over your heart. So like so when
Right.
those words are coming at you from even the closest of people, right? Family,
Ooh,
those close friends, those loved ones,
yeah.
it's like, okay, it's not penetrating because I got my shield up. So you can say all that you want to say, but it's not going to impact my feelings,
Right.
right? To the point to where it overrides how God feels about you and how God wants me to feel about you.
There's that. Because there's times when we might feel a certain way about ourselves, and it may not be the way that God feels about us. So
Mhm.
we have to discern that, right? And then also understanding what is God dictating to us, and our feelings, and then what are just emotions, feelings, and what are facts, because there are certain things that are just feelings and there's things that are facts, and to separate the two,
Yeah,
is very key. Okay.
yeah, yeah. That's good. Uh, to to know that, like you said, happiness is
Mhm.
temporary, but joy, right? We
Right.
know comes from God.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let go of the happiness, but
Hmm.
embrace the joy.
Yeah.
Embrace joy because joy you'll find in all things if you're
And you
if
don't
you're
need to
willing
have
to
that
look for it.
roller coaster. Yeah,
Mm-mm,
because happiness again is so situational. You're happy from moment to moment. So
mm-hmm.
sustain yourself, be content, find something that's going to, that peace in God that's going to sustain you and your joy
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Ooh, this is good. This is good. So, ooh, we were just talking about the feelings, right? So,
Mm.
what does it look like to leave our feelings at God's feet and not pick them back up?
Oh,
Because it's one thing to put them at His feet, is another thing not to go back and pick them back up. Because that same person is going to get on your nerves again, you know.
not pick them back up is the deal, right? Leaving them at God's feet and not picking them back up. Those are two very different things. Um, And so, yes, two very different things. Leaving them at God's feet and not picking them back up. It's again about trust and saying, God, if I trust you enough with my feelings, with my emotions, right? That what you've said or what you are doing is to be true. And if we truly trust God, truly, being real. Okay. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we got that hypothetical, possibility, situational, hypothetical trust, just being real with y'all. Okay. And just, we got to just walk away. God, I leave this at your feet, whatever this issue is. And these feelings, I'm going to leave right here and I'm going to just let you handle them and just step away from them. And it's that right there. I'm gonna say I felt a little like that last week, where it
Yeah.
was a roller coaster of emotions last week, and so
Mm,
I was like, God, first of all, why do you keep giving us show topics? First of all, on the weeks in which things are happening in my life, okay? First of all, and we need these topics, so you all know, are done way in advance, okay? There's a schedule of topics, okay? I was like,
yes.
so this is what you're gonna do? You doing this every week? I see what you're doing. I see the pattern. I'm pretty quick. Okay. And this
Hmm.
roller coaster, okay, okay. And Thursday it had hit. Like it had hit. And I was just like, that was it. God was like, are you gonna just sit in this? And I had some
Mm,
words. We worked it out. we were
it's
we worked it
good.
out. And I had to leave them at his feet because otherwise you can't take that thing on. And now you're going down an emotional rabbit hole that trust me has no bottom. I will assure you. Okay. And so
That's right.
there's plenty of times when people take on emotions and then it turns into illness and other things because they haven't left what they're experiencing at God's feet. So it's a day by day, moment by moment thing though, for real. I don't what is the way did you deal with it?
Hmm. Um, it's situational for me
Yeah.
because sometimes in some situations are easier than others to leave at his feet
Mm-hmm.
and like truly walk away and leave him there
Huh.
and give him my give him my
And
feelings
others
and
are
my
not.
emotions in the moment. So some moments are
Mm.
good. Other moments not so good. Still a
Mm.
work in progress, right?
Yes.
And God's like, okay, we're just gonna keep doing the iron sharpening iron till you till
Man,
you
I
get
mean,
it.
I'm just like, is it?
Until you get it. Until you get. I need you to leave those feelings with me and go do what I told you to do
And he puts that joker on repeat. Y'all don't even understand.
all day,
Man.
all day. And
Okay.
sometimes, because you may be sitting here watching this tonight or on the replay and say, no, God doesn't repeat. It's not
Oh,
always with the same person in the
no.
same situation,
Come on.
but the root is the same.
Come
The
on.
same
Till
lesson
you get
he's
it.
trying to get you to learn. It's the
Yes.
same lesson over and over again.
If you react the same way to different things, right? But your reaction is usually anger, or your reaction is usually worry or fear,
Right,
right? Oh, trust me, there's going to be series of events with various people that's
right.
going to get you. He's just going to keep. Okay, no worries. All right. One more time. Let's do it again. All right. One more time. Come on. You're going to worry again. You're going to fear again. You're going to anger again. You going to cussing again? These are your first responses? Okay, no problem. One more time. All right. Let's,
I
hey.
mean,
Because
I
he's got
mean,
plenty of one more times. You gonna get tired. Trust
oh my
me.
goodness. Yeah, his one more gins, they keep going.
Come
They keep
on.
going as long as needed, right? And I know with me writing the book, his one more gins with me, he was like, oh, okay, you don't want to write? You don't want to write? Okay. I'm gonna give you some more to even write about. You don't want to write about what I've already what's already happened? Here, let me give you some more to write about. And let me give you some more. You don't want to leave those feelings with me? Let's keep going. Let's just keep going.
Listen, he has no chill. You know, sleep is the only thing for me. And I'm sorry, I love my friends and family, but sleep is what matters. Okay.
Y'all, she got sleep ministry. That's what she tried not to
Listen,
say.
so when God knew I was not trying to write this book, oh, okay, bet. What you gonna do? 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Every morning he would wake me up with these downloads that I had to get out in order to write this book. And I was like, when I tell you the level of anger on the onset, see, this is real and relevant.
That's right.
I was like, can you not just give me this content when I'm wide awake during the day? He was like, nah. I'm going to send it to you when I want to send it to you, which was wee early in the morning when you just get to that good sleep. You know what I'm talking about. Next thing
Mhm.
you know, wide awake. It's not even just in stages. Just
Just before you start drooling. It's like,
it's almost like
wake
a
up.
caffeinated awakeness. And next thing you know, you cannot go back to sleep. And I'm just like, okay. And God was like, okay, yeah. And how many times did that happen to you? I mean, months, until God was like, you gonna get it. You gonna learn today. That's what that. There you go. And how many times my feelings about me wanting to sleep in, and sleep in meanings beyond 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. Okay, that was what I was asking, was longer than the 3 a.m. Okay, he was like, nah, you gonna get up and write.
That whole feelings versus obedience piece,
Listen,
you know, just even God saying to me, okay, enough is enough.
mm,
If you don't finish writing that book and do it in this year, which was 2019,
19. It was by the end of December of 2019.
he gave me a deadline. He said, I no longer care about your feelings. I didn't care before, but I really don't care now.
The careless
You
of the
got
careless.
until December 31st,
Yep.
2019 to finish this book,
Mm,
or I'm going to remove my hand of favor off of your life.
there's that.
And I was like, okay, you're no longer playing fair.
No,
I
no.
see now. I see you're no longer playing fair. And I still was in my feelings,
No
typing it
longer
out
playing
on my
fair to our disobedience.
typing it
Is that
out
what you just said?
on
No
the
longer playing
laptop.
fair to our disobedience.
Right. Typing it out, like hitting the keys hard because I'm so mad. Like, I don't want to write this book. This
I'm
is
down
too
there in
hard.
Texas with you. We both got headphones on trying to get these books cranked out by the end of No, he doesn't play fair, but in his defense, he gave us bandwidth, okay? And he
He
always
did.
gives grace. It's us as humans that extend we want to, how they give you an inch, you take a mile. You know how it is, right? And so it
Mhm.
wasn't that he didn't give us bandwidth, right? I'm gonna be very transparent. My biggest area of feelings versus obedience was my last relationship. Sorry, I mean, that's real and relevant. And I extended that thing out a good 6, 8 months. And God was like, that needs to end. And I was like, but it's going great. And he was like, that needs to end. And I was like, well, let's keep traveling. That needs to end. Let's look at building a house. That needs to end. Yeah, there you go. And the same thing with you. 2018, he was like, this is it. Your bandwidth. Come on, you've overextended this situation.
Yeah.
Get it right, or
Yeah.
you up out of here, right? And so,
Right.
please, y'all, Tania and I both have gotten to these places with God where God has just given us such amazing grace, like the song says.
And
And then,
continues to do. And
and
continues
then
to do.
we ran out of. We got to the inning, the last inning, the last batter up the bat. Thank God for grace,
I
right?
mean,
We're both living
truly.
in overtime right now. That's all I can say, is that we're both living in overtime, because it
Truly.
could have been another way.
Yeah. Yeah. So know that this topic tonight,
Mm,
as every topic that God gives us to share, is coming out of
yes.
a place of love. It's not
Yes.
coming from judgment. It's not
Right.
coming from a pedestal because we definitely have not arrived at this thing. There are
Mm.
still moments, we still have moments, moments where
Bishop.
we in our feelings. We in our feelings.
I
Yes,
mean, Bishop, you
it's a
don't have to
strength.
put it in perspective like that, folks.
Isn't it amazing how we keep doing disobedient acts yet expect obedient results? Well, okay.
He must be talking to you.
Yes, that deserved a pregnant pause. It did. That needs to everybody needs to just let that marinate because yeah,
Well, look at the time.
Right?
Look at the time. Thank you, Bishop. I tell you right on time when you're on time. I tell you that.
Oh, if I had a shoe, I would have thrown it.
I'm
Uh,
saying. I'm saying. And don't we get in our feelings? Be like, God, why you let this happen to me? Be like, I first of all, you ain't even supposed to be in that situation. Okay?
mm-mm. No. He's like,
Come on.
you're not even supposed to be allowing that situation to dictate your feelings the way that you are. It's like, well, I love him. God's like, but I didn't tell you to love him.
You know,
I didn't tell you to love him. That's a feeling. That's a feeling. I didn't tell you to love him.
that's so real and
You were
relevant.
allowing yourself to love somebody, but I didn't
Come on.
tell you to love them. God didn't say this is who you need to love.
And to Bishop's point, I mean, both of our first marriages, right, wasn't with people that God told us we were supposed to be with. So
Nope.
we married them, real talk, in disobedience, right? And they both resulted in abuse. So how are we like, well, God, how did you let this happen to us? And God's like, well, did you even ask me? Did you ask me? Did you care to ask me? Right? But we got these expectations, right? So y'all, please don't
I,
put
I,
yourselves in situations and then
for
be
the
getting upset
record,
when God don't rescue you. Okay, I'm just saying.
for the record, I asked, and her to know is still
Woo.
expected a blessed marriage. I asked, I heard no,
Mm.
and still expected a blessed marriage.
I didn't ask. I think I knew better. I didn't ask. Y'all kept
I
asking
asked,
me.
I
Y'all kept
asked you.
asking me. Look, real talk, y'all. This is why y'all have
I asked you.
bridesmaids. This is why you have Holy Ghost filled bridesmaids. Okay, because the bridesmaids asked me the, the day of, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "What was my answer to you?"
You said I don't know.
That was my exact answer. To this day, to this day, to this day, on that wedding day, I said, I don't know. And that was literally, if I don't know within myself, and I know I had not asked God, because I wasn't dumb enough. Look, I was smart enough to not be dumb enough. So I didn't ask. I felt like, well, if I didn't ask, if he say no, then I didn't hear him say no, technically,
Mm.
because I didn't ask. You see how in our minds we be thinking we playing. No, God is not here for these
Mhm.
games, y'all. Stop it. Okay. So
Mm.
there lies the first marriages and the first divorces. Because real irrelevant, we went with our feelings. Feelings got
Totally.
us in a pretty precarious situation, both of us. Thankfully, both of us are still alive. Okay. And, right, that's grace.
And mercy. That's
Come
grace and
on.
mercy.
Come on, for us to even be here and talk about this obedience versus feeling. So, y'all put in the chat, in the comments, let us know, because I know we're not the only ones out here that have had some crazy past about us living
Mhm.
in our feelings versus doing what we know God. Yeah.
And we're not the only people out here that
Yeah.
live and move and breathe in our feelings.
Every day.
Because if you think back to maybe just 30 minutes ago, you could probably think of someone or something that might have just taken you there.
Or
You
when you
know?
log off of here.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
That test, I feel like that test never ends. I feel like
Mm-mm.
that will be a constant test of our
Mm-mm.
faith, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, how you gonna react to this? Okay, how you gonna react to that?
Over and over and over and over
Daily,
and over.
daily, and in our face, in the news, in social media,
Correct.
in our workplace, in our home. It's just like constant,
Mm.
constant opportunities
Yes. And
to
you
make
have a
the choice
choice.
of, okay,
Yes.
am I going to respond in my feelings or
Mm.
am I going to respond in my faith?
That's it. That's it. That's
That's
it.
feelings versus faith. How am I going to respond?
Well,
Because
I
if I
put
respond in my feelings,
yes.
somebody else's feelings is bound to get hurt. Like if I respond in my feelings, somebody else's feelings. I'm gonna get hurt.
Honey, honey, the range. So I'm gonna say this week you came with the scriptures. This week God gave me the messages and the songs. So Danielle's gonna put in the comments straight up. I'm going to tell you the number one snippet of a sermon that was straight fire was by Pastor Stephen Furtick. Shout out to Pastor Stephen Furtick for "Get Out of Your Feelings." Period.
Mm.
Point blank.
Whew.
And so there's a bigger message to that. That's only the clip, but let me tell you how relevant that clip is. Just flat out, get out your feelings. That's on one side of the coin. On the other side of the coin is a great message by Pastor Stephen Furtick called Emotional Exhaustion. And that's a clip as well.
And that is a real thing. That's a
Very much.
real thing.
Very much. So I was like, you know what?
Very.
Let's give you both sides, both perspectives. And those two messages, they're less than 20-minute clips. Definitely check them out. And if you get time, watch the full messages. Then, of course, some music, because Tania and I are definitely music heads and we love worship music too. Chandler Moore, shout out to Chandler Moore in Music City. He did a song called He Understands. That video is so profound, talking about how whatever we're feeling at this moment, like God understands our feelings. He gave us feelings. He created our feelings. So he understands our feelings.
Right.
Deep,
Right.
great song. And then we had to hit you with a classic because we love classics on this show. So that's good old Andy Williams with the Feeling song. And I know y'all know, okay, used to hear it on sitcoms. It was always a clip that they would always play. And that's a song called Feelings. And so those are just some great YouTube references for you all to listen to watch, to really help you on this journey of your emotions, your feelings, and how sometimes, honey, you just got to set them to the side and just keep pushing forward.
So with that emotional exhaustion, which
Mm.
ooh,
Mm-mm. Honey, honey.
ooh, yeah. So that being a very real thing, let's
Mm.
let's just talk about in our own lives. Let's do a flashback of when it was a time when it was difficult for us to get past our feelings in order to get to obedience. And I think you and I both have already talked about the book,
Correct.
but
I gave two examples actually. So yeah. Sorry, I was ahead of schedule. I
yeah,
gave two
no,
examples.
nope, it's all good. I agree. I agree with the book, the season of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this show,
Yes. Mm.
this show.
Y'all don't understand. Week by week, taking time to prepare for this show. And shout out again to Danielle, our producer, right? Just what time it
Yes,
takes for us to sit, pray, ponder on these topics and to come up with content and the information and Nia's with her scriptures and I'm looking up, YouTube. And it's just like the time it takes for us to do something, to put effort and energy into something that, to be very frank with you, we didn't want to do, right? So that adds to the obedience as well, because it's like, okay, God, we trust you, we'll do what you tell us to do, and now let's add some work onto our plates, right? So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
real.
It's yeah, because it was a true. Yeah, I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel comfortable with doing that.
Right.
I don't feel qualified to do that. There were so many feels in it for me.
Mm.
So many feels.
I
Like,
felt like the things we wanted to share was nobody's business. That's what I felt. That there's that. But real and relevant and helping people in their journey.
right.
Our stories is not about us and what we went through and still go through, right? Our experiences, they're not
Hmm.
about us. So God has us on this earth for a reason still. And we're just grateful that he has given us the grace and is allowing us to be vessels to still be able to just go through this earth and share our experiences with you and encourage you.
Yeah. Yeah. And even just I know for me, another quick flashback,
Mm,
just even in the feel of, well, you're calling my family and I to move, but
mm,
where we are right now feels really good.
honey,
Like, wait, no, this feels good. Like you didn't bless me with my man of God, and
right.
you didn't provided the miracle of a baby, and no, this feels good.
Come
Like
on. That's a Jonah right there. It'd be
feels
like, that's a
good.
hard pass. That'd have been a
Like
hard listen.
the
Good
church
oil.
we're a part of, it feels great and
Right.
it's loving and it's
Everything's
welcome.
going great.
Everything's going great. Like, no, this feels great. What you mean? Shift. What do you mean?
Honey.
And shift to unknown. You want me to shift to unknown?
See, there's that. It's one thing to shift to comfortable, to knowing, right?
That's
Think,
correct.
but when it's truly trusting in God with your feelings and your emotions and your obedience, honey, no, kudos to you and the man of God. Because ultimately, y'all had to do that as a team and to make that
All
transition
day.
from one coast to the middle. Yeah, for sure. Because I don't know that everybody could have done that. This is real talk, real and relevant. That might have been the number five, on the list of the deuces. You know what I mean? Like,
I believe there are so many people that God calls daily to shift,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, nah, because this where I'm sitting right now feels really great.
That's
And I
real
don't
talk.
know how it's going to feel in that chair over there.
Correct.
So this chair is comfortable now. It
Agreed.
feels right.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I done made it my own. It's good. So I'm just we good right here. This feels
Yes.
this just feels right. And I don't
Mhm.
know how I'm gonna feel.
And God is like, pack it
And
up.
God is like, I don't care.
That's why I said when you said he does, but he doesn't. Come on, stop. Be honest with the
I
people.
said yes, but comma, but no. I
Okay,
said
well,
yes, but
I'm gonna
no.
be honest with y'all because Cynthia is trying to be politically correct. I'm gonna be honest. No, no. The answer is no, flat out. Okay, because at the end of the day, your feelings can lead you to death. Okay, because you keep being disobedient, and God is gonna take you up out of here. Right? He's only gonna have us so
Literally.
much grace and bandwidth with thee. So I don't want to mislead anyone to thinking that you can still just keep kicking that can. No, no. Please know that there's a ripple effect. You might not realize in your life some situations that's happening, but you might want to take a pause and to introspect and really wonder and think about some of these things that's happening. Is this a ripple effect because my feelings aren't in alignment with what God is telling me to do?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
and are my feelings overriding
Hmm.
what God is telling me to do?
Because
Like
sometimes we
when
block it out.
he asked me to do something,
Yeah.
what is my first response? Is my first response in my feelings? Am I in my
Hmm.
feelings? Am I in my feelings with that
Well,
response? You
yes.
know? Oh,
Yes.
or
Right.
is my first response, okay, I'm a little nervous, but
Right.
my answer is yes. I'm scared, but it's a yes.
Right.
Right? It's like,
Right.
okay, it's recognizing because it's not like he doesn't know the feelings aren't there. He knows. He already knows we're scared.
Yes.
He already knows we're upset. He already knows we're angry. He already knows we're sad. He's like, okay, you can speak that. Yes,
Hmm.
speak that and give it to me.
But
But
still do it.
but then I still need your yes
Correct.
behind
Correct.
that. I still need your yes.
And at the end of the day, He knows what is best, and it's just allowing ourselves to kind of take a pause, right? Understand that what we're feeling right now might be in the moment. Okay. That
Mhm.
5-10 second pause, there's value to that, right? I know some
Yeah.
therapists used to use that technique, count down from 20. Like there's value in that. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can choose one or two things. You can choose to respond or react. Okay. And so when you take a pause, that allows you to take the time to respond. When you don't pause, immediate is a react, right? And so you have to, you want to balance those things. We don't always want to be the firecrackers that we used to always be, but just leave it at that.
Right.
You know people in your lives, if you might be you yourself, who used to pop off, right? You were always a lit fuse looking for some gasoline. I wish it would. I wish it would.
Right. And it's just like, what?
Always.
You know, it's like, no, I need you to learn to marinate. I
Right.
need you to learn that sometimes
Slow down.
silence is still saying something.
Come on.
You even
Come
say
on.
something in your silence. You're still talking even in your silence. You know? It's like, okay, what I'm going to learn to do in this season of my life is
Mm-hmm.
not allow my feelings to be the first response,
Thank you. That's
right?
so good. That's so good.
So if this is resonating with y'all, y'all let
Yeah.
us know in the comments. Is this a great topic tonight?
Yes.
It's a real one given all that this country and this world has gone through.
Mm-hmm. The energy in this world, right? And the energy of between your friends, your family, your job, what you have task wise, the social media, the news, all of that. I mean, just over the last 10 years, if we look at the emotional dominance, I'm going to just use that word, that the media has over people's emotions,
Mm-mm.
they can
The needle is off the gauge.
come
The needle
on.
is off the gauge.
I'm like, what is happening? What has happened? I mean, seriously, 1 hour of the nightly news, and they have a whole nother level of rage and emotion. And it's just like, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Seriously. You need to take some time and just
It is coming from years and generations of one, I believe, suppressed feelings, right?
yeah,
Because there were some cultures
yes,
that weren't permitted to express their feelings, didn't
yes,
have that freedom to do so. And so it was suppressed. And now you got a whole nother generation that's like, you
come
know
on,
what? Nobody ain't, I'm using bad English, ain't nobody suppressing nothing. Like,
right?
like you gonna know how I feel off the cuff. You gonna know. And not only are you gonna know, but I'm gonna go Facebook Live with it. And then not
Right.
only but I'm gonna post it on the gram. And then
Right.
I'm gonna do a TikTok about it. It's just like,
Oh my
what?
goodness.
Where? Whoa, time out. Time out. Because you got
Man,
a whole nother generation coming behind you that's watching
listen,
your emotional meter being all the way like hard over
come on.
to the
Come
right,
on. It's yes.
thinking that that is healthy and that that's okay to
Mm-mm.
show every time and to have that constantly at the forefront. Well, I'm mad, I feel
Right.
mad,
And
so
that's your firecracker reaction every time. Every time. Every time. I remember Pastor Stephen Furtick in one of his messages said that most of you all, before you go to post on social media, you probably should be just journaling. And I thought, how profound is that? He's like, most social media posts should honestly be private journal entries. And I was like,
fully.
ooh wee, ooh wee. You think about that. And at that moment, I started to just reevaluate my feed. You know what I mean? I'm not even looking at anybody else's feed. I'm looking at my feed. Like, you're probably right. You probably are right. Absolutely. Think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So, ooh, I got questions when we got questions tonight.
You got questions.
So, why are some people always in their feelings? The answer is not in that straw.
Oh, yes, it is. Trust me, it is. Trust me. Just for tonight. Trust me, it is. Uh,
You know, this question, seriously, why are some people always in their feelings?
excuse me.
I think it's comfortable for them.
Hmm.
It's comfortable for them.
Is it though?
It
Is
is.
it though?
It
Is it?
is. Rather
Is it
than go,
though?
rather than go to God and pray,
Hmm. Hmm.
let me
Who
just
does that?
respond to you in my feelings.
Who
Because
does that?
then I can say what I want to say out of my mouth, and I'm not saying what God wants me to say out of my mouth. I get out
Right.
how I feel first.
Yes. But real and relevant, how often do any of us go to God first? So that's now possibly on occasion. I'm gonna be real and relevant. Not necessarily my first reaction. Are people in their feelings? 100% all the time. Why? I don't know is my first answer. And my second answer, I probably can't give you on the air, but I don't know is my first answer. There's a myriad of reasons. Okay. Um, and healing. You didn't expect this answer from me tonight, did you? I
I
went,
am intrigued.
hmm, Win 3.0 is surprising you. Okay. Healing truly can help to solve that. Okay? Because many people who are in their feelings are operating from a place of hurt.
Real talk.
They're
Yes.
operating from an area in their life that they need wholeness. Okay? And only God can give wholeness. All right? So when we find people, whether it's us or other or anyone else that's in our lives, that you have to walk on eggshells, right? You're always like, well, you got to be careful what you say around so and so, or you just can't be your authentic self around so and so, or if you say anything to so and so, they always, no, they have a spirit of offense. Number one, that needs to
Right.
be bound up. If I can just be very frank with you, and number two, they have a place of hurt that needs to be healed.
Hmm.
That is my listen with Win and Tania answer.
I would second that because our feelings always have a root to them. You are right. Our feelings always have a root to them. Um, and whew,
Come on.
to be able to recognize that is true freedom. To be
Mhm.
able to look back on your life and say, okay, I get mad or I get upset
Yeah.
or I feel sad every time this happens, or
Come on.
every time I hear about this, or
Right.
every time I interact with this person, right? Sometimes it's
Mhm.
an actual individual,
Right.
and recognizing that and saying, okay, I can't stay here. I can't stay in this
Mhm.
place anymore, right? And going back to taking those emotions to God, those feelings to God,
Mhm.
getting healing and leaving them there,
That's
right?
real.
Um, and we see you, Yvonne Sanchez, Mama Sanchez. Hey,
Shout out
uh,
to Mama Sanchez.
yes. And I love what she said about our emotions should be a gauge of where we are, not a guide.
That's it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they
That's so
can't
good.
direct us because they're going to take us down a rabbit hole that we just can't get out of. I assure you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. So, how many people have you heard say, "This is what I'm feeling"? God is, but haven't actually heard from God. First and foremost, I interrupt people when they say, "This is what I'm feeling." God said, because I'm like, first and
God is
foremost,
not in a feeling. What?
God is not attached to your feelings.
Thank you.
God speaks to your spirit. And we just said, if you weren't here for the beginning part where we broke it down,
Mm, mm, mm.
your mind, will, and emotions is what's attached to your soul. That's what makes
Come
up
on.
your soul.
Yes.
So God's not in that.
Come
God
on.
is only
God,
talking
you
to
feel
your
God is telling
spirit.
you
So I
what?
am quick to tell people, no, don't tell
No.
me what you feel God is saying.
What did he say?
You can say, this is what God said to me, or you can say, this is what I believe God
And
has
even that's
said
a
to me.
stretch. I mean,
Now,
that's
then
that's
you
a
can
that's a
go on
stretch.
that belief all day long, right?
Mm,
But not feel. No, no, no. God's
no,
not in the feel.
not at all. Not at all. He's not in your feelings. First of all, God wasn't even in Jesus' feeling in the garden when he told him it was time was up, right? No, he's out there. He's out there sweating blood. He wasn't in that feeling. No, let's go. Time is up. No. So if he's not in that, surely he's not. I mean, what you think? No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
What did he say? I love when you make it plain to people. Tania be like, we get all emotional. And Tania be matter of factish. Right here. There's you got that word, matter of factish.
Matter of fact.
What did God say? See, right there is a delineation between emotion and facts.
Mhm.
It's a
It's a
real
very hard line. It's a
come on,
very hard line of
black and white.
separation
That's it.
because
That's it.
our emotions say a lot. Our feelings say a lot to us all day long. Our feelings say you should slap so and so for what they just said out their mouth.
I
And
love when
God
what
is
did the
like,
one prophet say? When she said on the
I didn't tell
last
you to do that.
service, where she said, your feelings will get you killed, right? And she said, and there's no room in the spirit realm for your feelings. And I thought, oh my God, like put that thing
Zero
in
room.
perspective.
Zero room.
Like, nah, there's not. There's not. So yeah, the heard what you thought you heard in a feeling, what you thought you felt. Anywho, anywho. So when situations arise, why do we always respond first emotionally before praying? I'm gonna ask you that because this is right up your alley. This is you typically pray first. I sometimes
Not all the
respond
time.
first.
Not all the time. Not all the time. Oh,
Listen.
I'm quick to be
If we
real
are
and relevant and
together,
transparent. Not all the
listen.
time.
Both her and I are the dynamite and the gasoline together. Back in the day, honey, yeah, it'd have been a cut you shoot you. Okay, you'd have got a double
Truly.
barrel. Okay,
Truly.
so one's praying before the other.
Now there's a beautiful balance. Now there's a beautiful seesaw balance. It's okay. It's okay
Yes.
now. Um, you know, I I'm gonna say
Hmm.
sometimes people respond first emotionally. One, because it's easier.
Okay. Fair.
It's easier to respond with our emotions and our feelings than it is to put the finger up and be like, you know what? I need to go pray.
Hmm.
I'll be
Take a
back.
pause. Take a pause.
I'm not gonna comment yet on what you just said. Let
Mm-mm.
me step away and I'll get back to you on that. Mm-mm. No,
Yeah.
no, that's not the easy thing to do. The easy thing to do is to respond full on in
Hmm.
our feelings, with our emotions.
immediately.
Um, I'm going to go so far as to even say some of that is our flesh and our
Very much.
sin nature
Mm-hmm.
wanting to respond our
Mm-hmm.
feelings. It's like, oh, you hurt me, let me hurt back.
Right,
Let's
right.
go for an eye, right? It's like, okay, I got something back for that. I got that. It's like you playing poker with your feelings.
That's it.
Somebody put down that anger card, be like, "Oh, I got you on anger, and I'm gonna
Correct.
raise you. I'm gonna raise you with
Yeah.
rage." It's like, what are we doing?
And where do we get with that? To be honest with you, where do we get with that?
Nowhere. You end up folding.
Come on, right, right. We all
Having
everybody's
to
out of
fold.
cards at this point,
Keep
right?
going with the poker analogy. You end up
Come on,
folding
gets
because
you
it's like,
nowhere
okay, and nobody wins, and nobody wins.
at all.
No one wins. But it's easier to
Mm,
respond that way.
mm,
Easier to
mm, mm.
respond. It's easier to respond in our feelings.
Wow, wow.
I
Yes,
mean, Adam did. That was the first thing he did. That was his first response out of his mouth.
it's like it's her fault, right there,
Right. He went
right.
straight to his feelings. Like there's a lot of feelings in that sentence. Because
Correct.
he says the woman you gave me. Like
So he's technically he's putting blame on God and Eve. Did you catch that? Because he
I
was
did.
like, "You gave me to her because we was okay before her. Let's just okay. You and I was together. It was
Right.
just you and I. Now you gave me her. Okay, so it's your fault and it's her fault. What what it is not is my fault. That's basically what Adam is saying. Like, yeah,
Right.
it's not
That's
my
why
fault.
that's why I believe some of that response, that responding first out of our emotions and out of our feelings, is part of our
Correct.
sin nature.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because it's like,
First
okay,
response.
yeah. Because
Lack
he
of
didn't say he didn't
accountability.
say God forgive me. he
No,
didn't say he didn't
right?
say I'm so sorry.
He didn't
It
have
was
any accountability or responsibility, more or less asking for forgiveness. He wasn't even on that level. He was just like, I'm not
no,
even gonna own it. First of all,
no,
forgiveness, I'm
no.
not even gonna own it. Hmm.
He was mad. Like, well, none of this would have happened if you wouldn't have made this perfect person. You wouldn't have made this perfect woman for me.
Can you imagine? Oh, to be
She
the
walking
fly.
around, she walking around naked. What you expect me to do? She had me a piece of fruit.
Real talk,
Of course I'm gonna eat
y'all.
it.
Real talk. That's a real relevant conversation right there. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to?
it's a it's a perfect woman standing in front of me, handing me a piece of fruit. What
There's
are you gonna do?
there's where the emoji came from. Where it's just like, there it is. Genesis, the first
Oh
emoji.
gosh.
That is it.
So why does trusting God with crazy faith feel like an emotional roller coaster?
Because it is. Because it is. It is. Period, point blank. I don't know where you all live, but whatever amusement park is closest to where you are, whoever's watching this across the globe, find your amusement park with the craziest roller coaster and say, okay, God, I fully trust you. Now hop on that roller coaster with no seatbelt on.
Mm. And blindfolded. And blindfolded.
Just saying.
Because true trust in God, you have no clue where He's taking you. None.
There's that. There is that. There is that. No seatbelt,
Nope. You just got a
blindfolded.
bar. You just got the bar to hang on to. That's all you got. That's all
Come
you got.
on. That's
That's
it.
all you got.
That's true trust right there. Because let me tell you, the roller coaster of true trust, what you're going to feel in your feelings, trying to have some crazy faith, you're going to look crazy. You're going to act crazy. You're going to feel crazy. You might be crazy. At the end of the day, you'll be obedient, but it's going to feel like a crazy faith emotional roller coaster. I kid you not. We can't even sit here and act like that's not even the case.
Oh, it is the case. All day long.
All day long.
All day long.
All day long. Where
You
days you're
know?
like, this is
And
wonderful.
that
Days
and
you're
that
like, get
is
me off this.
that is looking crazy and maybe being told you're crazy with believers and non-believers.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
Because there are people in the church that claim they have faith that's going to be like, but did God really tell you? But did God really tell you to do that? And those are the seasons where you have
Mm.
to know that you know that you know in your knower.
Come on. Personal relationship. Knowing God for
Not
yourself.
not going back to not that I feel God is telling me.
Thank you.
That has to be, I know God
Right.
told me to do this.
Come on.
Or I know he told me not to do this.
What it's not is not a feeling. That's what it's not. Okay.
No.
That's what it's not.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. So that emotional roller coaster is very real. And shout out to the people in virtual world and real world who are on this emotional roller coaster with me personally. Shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for days and telling me to tighten up my helmet. Shout out to y'all for real. Thank you. If
And
I
much
haven't said it
love
to
to
you.
every doubter that
Mm,
my family and I have ever had over these last 14 years. Much love.
come
Much
on,
love.
girl. Put it out. Say it
Because
so.
God took that, and that was fuel. It was kindling. He was like, okay,
Mm,
you got these doubters over here that don't believe that you heard from me. Okay, God. Okay. So much love to the supporters, but
mm.
even much love to the doubters
The
and the
ripple,
naysayers.
the ripple effect. Girl,
Because we still here and God still being faithful. In
20
spite of
years.
my feelings.
Come
And in
on.
spite of your feelings.
Listen, you
In
got
spite of
14,
everybody's feelings.
15 years. I got 20 years of from when I left the federal government. Next month in December will be 20 years of resigning and doing something that people who told me I was crazy to give up a GS. You know what's crazy? Disobedience.
That part.
But to tell that to church folk and to tell that to family and to tell that to friends.
Mm-mm.
God bless you. Come celebrate with me next month. Woo! Come on. Because we ain't getting off this. We ain't getting off this obedience train. Okay. It
Nope.
might be a little uncomfortable. We might have to switch cabins. Okay. We may have to go to the meal cart. We might have to go stretch our legs a little bit at the back of the train and look at the tracks go by. But honey, we ain't getting off the train.
Nope. And it's a whole lot of uncomfortable. It's a whole lot of uncomfortable only because it's unfamiliar, right?
There's that.
Putting our feelings to the side
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to do what God said is
Yes.
unfamiliar. And it shouldn't be, but it is,
Hmm.
right? It honestly shouldn't be,
Right.
but it is. It's unfamiliar, it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
And we resist it. Is this the initial is to resist, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it's not comfortable at all.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's like, wait, you want, but I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hear that you're scared, but I don't care.
Because our comfort zone, quote unquote, right? That's our feelings. We're in our comfort zone and we're like, oh, well, you know what? I'm comfortable here.
Mhm.
But there's no growth in that.
Mhm.
And that might be where God had you. Again, we've talked about this in season one. Y'all go back and watch these episodes, right? That might be where God had you. Okay. So you might have been in obedience then, but are you now and will you be tomorrow? Those are different things. So always be checking in, always be listening. Okay. And to know that what you felt yesterday might be different than what you feel tomorrow.
And as we will always say on this show, is who is waiting for you to put your feelings to the side
Mm,
and pick up the obedience?
come
Who's
on.
waiting? Who is waiting? Who's waiting for what God placed in you? While you steady in your feelings, while we
Good.
steady in our feelings,
The ripple
who's
effect.
waiting on our books?
Come,
While we
ma'am,
steady in our feelings,
ma'am.
who's waiting on the show?
The listeners, thank you, who are listening to us. So we thank you all each Tuesday tuning in Tuesday night, spending time with us,
Yeah.
and know that this is an obedience. We're here out of obedience,
In spite of our feelings.
in spite of our feelings. How about that, right? That's so real talk. That's so real talk. Oh my goodness. Wow. Mm,
So
mm,
if
mm.
anything resonated with you guys tonight, we'd love to hear the feedback. You can put it in the comments. Thank you
Yes.
so much already for all that's already been said tonight. So such good feedback. This is
Mm.
again, it seems like God keeps giving us some really hard hitting topics this season. Like,
Wow.
whoo,
No chill.
I thought season one had some home runs in it, but
No.
this
He
season
came out the gate
already,
with the first episode in season 2 of Forward. He Forward. And he was right in our faces with the forward. Do you hear me?
mm,
Go
yeah,
back and watch it, y'all, if you haven't seen it, please.
yeah, yeah. And if you know anybody that you
Mm,
have relationship with, right? Let
yes.
me put that out there. That you have genuine relationship with that you know has really been struggling with their feelings.
Ooh.
You've been noticing them
Mm. Y'all know the people in
responding
your
a lot
lives that
in
are
their
emotional
feelings.
roller coasters. You know them. You know who we talk about.
Share this episode. Share this episode with them in love,
Hmm.
right? Because life is too short to be living life like that. To be
This is true.
spending your life on the literal edge. On the edge.
And if it's you, right, that
Mhm.
you realize if you haven't sat with yourself, because I'm all about introspect, and it's not about
Right.
pointing out anyone else's flaws. It's about where can win be better, where can there be growth, right? God, work on me. That's an introspect. And so sit with this, rewatch it again if it's you, right, who just needs to just work on your feelings. Maybe that's a 2022 goal. I don't know, everybody has New Year's resolutions. Okay, maybe turn up for the next 45 days, and then in 2022. You know what, God? I give my emotions and my feelings to you, right? And let you have rule and reign over them. Maybe that's a goal you want to maybe strive for in 2022.
Yeah.
To just, yeah, take a pause more than you do react.
Yeah. So great. Ooh. So,
Mm,
God moment from the week.
mm.
You got testimonies? Just one. Just one.
My feelings are my testimony for this week.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah, that's why I said I was like, God, you have no chill because you do this to me, you on purpose, like you set me up. You're a master strategist with these chess moves every week. So yeah, that's my testimony. Is this week the emotional roller coaster and allowing God to have dominion over my feelings, no matter what I was feeling, but to stop myself, become conscious and aware, and literally take the time to pray, as you said, and just allow God to just take my emotions at that time and just settle me, right?
Yeah.
Woosah.
The woosah is real. And that is, yeah. It's real. It's real. And that's really good. I know, I know for me, um, for hubby and I, in celebrating our daughter's birthday this past weekend. Yes, shout out to her.
Shout out,
Um,
shout out.
and how, we were planning an event for her, and we are a budget household. We are a budgeting household. And so we're sitting there and we're like, okay, how much do we want to budget for this event? And um, my husband was like, let's do this number. And I was like, okay. And God was like, no, do this number. So it was just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And I was like, okay, bet. We're gonna do. God
Bet.
said we're gonna do 250. We're gonna do 250.
Right.
So we budget, we set aside. We get we get to the lunch, and we're covering the cost of her and her five friends for lunch.
Yeah.
And as we have always joked with them, but kind of not joking, but every year with teenagers, we're like, look, you can order anything you want off the menu, just no steak. Like that's always
Correct.
our rule. Like you can order anything you want, no steak, right? So, and then we placed them at their own table, so they were just having a blast. And I'm seeing the server come out with appetizers and then these
Honey.
really nice plates of
I
food.
mean, when you tell teenagers, hey, you can have a run of the game of the menu, you know how you and I like to eat. We'd have been just like, let me get everything on this left hand side right here.
I had such a beautiful piece about it,
Yes.
and I just would look down every once in a while, and they, just sitting there having a great time, enjoying their food and eating, and then dessert comes over to them, and they all
Because, eh, I mean, Ma said, yeah,
right,
what y'all want?
anything you want,
Get whatever
right?
y'all want. Yeah.
So the other parents, we were all engaging and talking, but every once in a while they'd be like looking down, they were like, Tania, they're ordering a lot of food down there.
You sure? They give you,
They were like, you sure everything gonna, be okay?
you
And it
want,
was all in love,
yeah,
true,
yeah.
genuine
Oh,
love. And I
sure.
so appreciate
Absolutely.
that beautiful tribe because they were like, we can pitch in and
Yeah,
help,
we put some on it.
cover. Yeah. And I was like, no, I believe it'll be fine. I was
Come
like,
on.
God
In the
gave us a
know.
number. He gave us a number, and I
Mm.
believe it will be fine.
Yes, God.
So we order, and we done. Everybody's done. The bill, the little bills in the
The
cover thing
baffle.
come around,
Yes.
and she hands it to my husband, which I just love that. I was like, I love that she gave it to you. So
Man of
he,
God.
he opens it, and I look at it, and I just immediately bust out laughing because I was like, God, you are so so awesome.
He's so faithful, man.
Like
All we had to do was just trust.
you told me to budget. You told us to budget 250, and that is what we budgeted for
Yeah.
250. And the bill comes, and mind you, it's the six of them plus him and I. So
8 people.
8 people on
Yes.
this bill.
Come on.
And I look at the total number. This is after tax, 210.
Honey.
20% tip,
There you
$40.
look at that.
Total 250 and 6 cents.
Cause won't he do it? Cause won't he do it? See, this is the thing right there, right? Is
I could do nothing but laugh at that. Honestly, I
girl.
wanted to run around the restaurant
I was
because
getting
I
ready to
was
say,
like, God, only you would tell us to
listen,
budget for 250 and then have it
to
on
the
the
T.
money.
To the T.
Like we didn't tell these kids only order this dollar amount. Like
Correct.
none of that. And on to down to 6 cents.
Six. Six.
Zero
Six.
six.
Listen, the the sovereignty, if people don't get it, I don't know what. See, when I be having these crazy messages, I be texting y'all, be like, this is the awesomeness of God. I know y'all probably like, what in,
No,
listen,
no, that thing
y'all,
is real. That thing is real. And if you're watching tonight, you're like, Tania, that's not really a testimony.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
you take it how you want. Trust me,
Oh my God.
it was God being God for us,
6 cent.
because it was down to the 6 cents on the money.
Mm,
And I was like, God, I thank you, because
mm.
no man had to come through, because you came through.
See, I was going to talk about that, but I didn't want to belabor
Mm-mm,
the moment.
mm-mm.
I didn't want to belabor the moment
Because I was
because
adamant with the other parents. I was like,
thank you.
no, there's no need. It'll be fine. I was like,
Mm,
it'll be
mm,
fine. And when I
yes.
say I had the peace of God was resting
Um,
on my heart and on my spirit, that it'll be fine.
mm,
And I
mm,
was,
mm.
and I even told God at one point internally, I was like, you know what, God? And even if it goes over, I know you still gonna cover, you still gonna give us what we need on the back end. If it went over, then I know you still gonna cover some kind of way on the back end. So there's that. I was like, but what you haven't told me to do is take money from anybody else.
Correct.
So I'm not gonna do that, because you didn't tell me to do that.
Mm,
And
mm,
I'm not
mm.
going to receive the feelings of everybody else at the table, the
Woo.
nervousness, the concern, the genuine,
Yes.
beautiful,
Yes.
genuine concern,
Mm,
of we can help. I was like,
mm-mm,
no.
mm-mm.
And so when we got the bill and I sat there and told them, everybody's just sitting there looking at me like
Because
trying to figure it out. And I'm like,
sovereignty. Now, right,
you
right.
can't
Because
even
you're
understand this
not out here
miracle on
in this
this side
crazy
of the
faith.
table right now.
Right. They not in the waters, the deep waters that we're in with this crazy faith when God tells us one thing and manifests the exact thing. And people again are looking at us like, how? How? It ain't a how. It's right here.
Mm-mm.
It's right here. It's not a how.
That
It's a listen and obey. That's what it
this
is.
is what happens when you take those emotions and those feelings that you have,
Put them to the side.
and you put them to the side, or you give them to God, even better,
Mm,
yeah.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
you say, you know what? I'm feeling like this don't make any sense, but I'm gonna trust you anyway,
Come on.
because I'm feeling like that may not be enough for a bunch of 15-year-old kids to eat off of, but I'm gonna trust you. But I'm
Right.
gonna trust you anyway. And I love it, because
Mm.
I was like, God, not only did they eat their fill, but it was like feeding the 5,000, because they all went home with plate. They all went
See,
home with to-go containers. So they had more.
there is that.
They had
There
more
is
than
that.
enough off of the amount that he
Come
told
on.
us to set aside. That is my
Mm.
God moment.
That's that Ephesians 3:20 verse of the day today, right? Boy,
Yes.
exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask, think, or imagine. When we think about, okay, God, you told us 250, bet. Okay, we're gonna put 250 to the side. And you allowed everybody to enjoy,
And
right?
full, and full. Because
To the
they sitting
full,
there with the chairs pushed back, like
to the
leaning back,
overflow,
like
because
they
they got to go boxes.
so.
Come on,
I'm like, okay, God, now you
girl.
showing off. Now
Because
you showing off.
that's where he is right now.
Now
Come
you
on.
showing off in this
God
thing.
of overdue.
That was my beautiful God moment.
I
I
love it. I
I was
love it.
in seriously, I was ready to run around that restaurant when I looked at that total
Mm,
and I
mm, mm.
factored in the tip, because God was like, make it an even 40
Come
and you
on.
be right there on the money.
I'd have been hold my mule. It'd have been 1 minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'd have asked for a minute. Give me a minute. Come on.
You ever, I don't know if anybody's watching, but you ever just want to holler? You ever just want to holler out,
Yeah,
like
thank
just
you.
holler out thank you or a hallelujah, because you just be like, okay,
Man,
okay, okay, God, I see you. I see you
because that
at
could have went
work.
drastically wrong if we would not have had faith, right? That could have been it could have been a $200 bill, a 300. Really, we don't know what they ordered, so it could have went drastically the other way. But when total faith on your part resulted in
In
God's total,
obedience, in
that's it.
obedience,
That
because he told
manifestation.
us
Mm,
set aside 250.
the exact amount.
Exactly.
There's that. ladies and
And that
gentlemen.
is what he did. And that is what he did. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, God, only you, only you gonna sit here and do this thing. So,
moment by
ooh,
moment. That's it.
so whether you watching this live or you watching this on the replay, we would love to hear your God moments from the week. You
Mm,
can post them in the comments because we love to celebrate God with people. We genuinely do.
yes.
And even if you're commenting on the replay, we'll still reply. We'll still get the notification. So definitely, I won't even say if because we all have
Yeah.
God moments all day, every day in our
Yes.
lives. So if you would like to share it with us, please by all means post it in the comments. So next week, where are we at next week?
I don't. We don't even know. We don't even. We literally don't even know. We don't. Y'all are gonna have to just tune in. Come on back for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some feedback. Our producer is saying, give us some suggestions. Okay,
Ooh, we
so
would
next
love that.
week, ooh,
Yeah.
it might be viewers' choice next week. So give us some F letters that start with the letter F. Definitely give us some suggestions in the comments for next week's topic. And next week might be a viewer's choice. So we'll see
Mhm.
what it lands out.
And even if you can't think of a word that starts with F, but there's a topic on your heart,
Yeah,
let us know. We'll find a synonym of an F. You don't have to worry
there's
about
that.
that. We'll take care of that.
There's
But
that.
yeah,
Yes.
we would love to have viewers' choice for next week.
Yeah.
So we are so appreciative. And if
Hmm.
there were any questions, if you have any questions from this week's topic, from tonight's
Yeah.
topic,
Put it in the
post them in
comments.
the comments.
Yeah.
We would love to conversate because we understand the feelings. Feelings is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And setting those feelings down to pick up obedience is an even bigger deal. So we're not making light of it, although there was much laughter tonight.
Yeah.
It's just in the transparency of it all where we are
Honey, just know that
in this walk.
laughter is an exchange of crying, right? And so it's laughter versus tears because we have been through with our emotions. So now there's joy, right? And so it's about
Mhm.
choosing joy. I love you guys. It's so good to tune in every week. Remember, set your dial to 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, no, Pacific
No,
Central. You
Central.
see, my mind is already in the West
Don't
Coast.
put me
Right.
in California. Do not put
Shout
me
out.
in California.
There you go. Shout out to those that are watching it from the West Coast. But 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And just definitely put your reminders on and go back and just watch some of the old ones and share. Enjoy.
And whew, until next week, y'all keep listening.
That's it.
Much
Take
love.
care.
Good night.